My name's Nathan, and then if you're new to this channel and you're like, who is this guy? Well, I'm going to do my best to try to explain this. Maybe I don't need to explain it. If you've already kind of browsed through some of our stuff on our Patreon, you've discovered that both Danielle and myself were both enthusiasts of fitness and on health, but it wasn't always like that. And both of us have actually had journeys where we kind of go back and forth. And what we've discovered, one of the great things about our friendship, is that we can hold one another accountable. And I'll just briefly give you the quick version of how that came about. Last year, I went on a hiking trip with my boys. So I had one of the worst days I've had in a long time. And to make it quick, I was out of shape, and it was a trip that I had done previously in previous years, and I just realized just how bad and how far I had let things slide. And by October, it was really starting to hit me that I couldn't just do this alone. I'd heard from getting to know Danielle that she had coached people, and so I reached out to her and asked if she could give me some tips. And so she gave me kind of like a plan to follow. And the plan was good, but the thing that actually worked the most was the fact that she was following up and cheering me on. And that actually was better than any plan that she could have created. The fact that somebody, and this is for me personally, but somebody was actively aware that I was doing this and kind of keeping tabs on it and keeping me accountable. Yeah, that helped a lot. So in October, it would have been October-ish, more like November, really, about mid-November, I decided I would take on the challenge. Looking down the road at my eventual, I turned 50 this year, but back in October and November, I was dreading that and thinking, like, what happens, if I don't actually take care of my health? That means I decline and it's harder. So I took on the challenge to, go to the gym regularly, eat more healthy, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I took it seriously. It's not that I didn't take it seriously, but I was posting fairly regularly, and I had a bit of a community starting to follow me. But I kind of stopped. And because I stopped, I think that it might have implied to others that I stopped entirely. Well, in fact, that's the opposite is true. If anything, I've increased my pace at trying to, stay in shape and be more accountable to the food that I'm eating and go walking. And yeah, I think there's a change. I don't totally believe it, and I haven't actually done a side-by-side. So what I've got ready to show myself, I'm going to react to my own video. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of back in November and now 6 months later, what I look like comparatively, and see if there is a change, if I can see a change. Okay? I've had people tell me there is. I still don't see it. When I look at myself, without a shirt off, I just see the same old fat Nathan, right? So we'll see. We'll see if I actually see the change. So this is just the paused video. I'm going to play a little bit of it, and then maybe it would help if I put my microphone here. I'll just give my thoughts as we go. Here we go. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see. So right off the bat, when I look at these two videos side by side, funny, I don't know if I see a ton of change. And again, others will say that they do see it. I just don't see it. I can see that maybe I've got a little bit more shape in my chest. Okay. A little bit more tapering around my waist, a little, but I don't see a ton of change. But maybe it's just me. I'm very picky about this stuff. So in the comparison there, you can see I've got a bit more of a bulge in my belly and not as much here. Okay, and my man boob there is less a booby and a bit flatter there. So, okay, I'll take it. I'm not like thrilled about the difference, but I'll take that difference. I think that is a slight difference. Yeah, no.
44. A 44.
So that's an interesting stat right there. So my chest didn't change size. It stayed the same. And I would say this, looking at those two videos, I mean, the explanation of that is this. I lost some fat in my chest and I gained some muscle. I think that's the easiest way to explain it. It didn't, like, yeah, I could see objectively in those videos that my chest shape looks different. And so that's the only way to explain that. It sucks when you don't see the numbers actually change. And that's one of the ones that I'd thought would change, but I can see that the shift in fat to muscle, it must have happened, right? But yeah, time will tell if it gets bigger. All right.
On my hip bone, it's 43. 41.
Okay, that's a significant change. So that actually tells me a lot. And that I've been noticing this with my pants. So I've had to like punch holes in my belt so that my pants, or so that I can use my belt to hold my pants up. So that one, I'll take that one. That's definitely a shift.
15 on my left. No, it's 15. 16.
And that's an actual improvement. So that's not just like fat loss, that's like muscle gain on my arms. And I have heard from others that your arms are looking pretty big. So I'll take that one too.
Let's go 25, 24.
So there you go. That's an interesting shift there. My legs, which I thought were getting bigger, have actually lost fat because they didn't lose muscle. I know that. My legs are definitely, I can push a lot more than I could before. So that's where I've lost significant fat in my legs, and now the muscle hasn't grown to replace that yet. But that's something that now being aware of that makes me think I could probably dedicate a bit more time to legs. Oh man, I hate leg day, but it's still I'd still do a leg day. It's not like I skip it, but I have this feeling like I probably need to focus a bit more on my quads and my thighs. Okay, and the last part of my little fitness, I guess, checking with you, my little community, is I've got a video of me explaining my goals, I guess, my upcoming goals and where I'd like to be. This is kind of six months since I took on this challenge to get back in better shape. This is the 6 month kind of time, and so now I want to I'll have me explain it while I'm pointing to parts of my body. Here we go.
Well, let's talk about the areas that still under construction. The areas that I would like to work on. This kind of bugs me. This is like the area that I don't know why, no matter how much work I do.
I don't know why I get kind of specific here, but this really is it's not a dilemma for me. I get why I've got that extra fat going on underneath there. It frustrates me to no end to see like the fat come off of all the other places, my arms, my legs, my face, and not that area. So yeah.
I've still got this man boob that doesn't want to leave. So this is an area that I'm focusing on. Not that I'm like working exercises. Well, no.
I get a little confusing here. I'm going to just skip a little bit of this because you get the picture.
I start, well, and I am doing that, but it will go as I eat healthy, exercise throughout the day, go for walks. That's the plan.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I've realized that the only way for me to actually get rid of this fat is to just be consistent with activities throughout the day. It's not going to the gym that's actually going to get rid of this, or working out those areas. It's going to be my dedication to proper nutrition and my dedication to movement, regular movement that happens not just, during the time at the gym, but it happens, I walk to the store, or I go for a walk at night, or, I go on my little treadmill every once in a while, just to keep this consistency of movement and the nutrition side of it. And then, good sleep. So there's that kind of trifecta, the holy trifecta of sleep, nutrition, and movement, I think are going to, in the next 6 months, address that problem.
Okay, so that's an area I'd like to improve. Other places, oh boy, would I love to get rid of this stuff. And then here's a really fun thing. So down here I got this, it's called a lipoma. It's just a pile of hardened fat. And that's from living a lifestyle of eating whatever I want. And then my body trying to store that away somehow.
The hard truth about these lipomas, and this is where I'm like, I don't know if it'll ever go away, is that your body will store that as a, and I don't understand why, but it stores it in a different way than it would store normally your fat. And these lipomas are like next to impossible for your body to go back and pull that fat out. Some people have claimed that they do get reduced over time, but I've got them in my bicep, I've got them in my little one in my boob, I've got one down here, and they've been checked. Doctors have looked at them and said, no, these are not, I don't have cancer in them, but because the nature of them, they don't really just go away with your regular diet and exercise. So that might be something down the road. I may have to have them surgically removed. I don't know, we'll see.
I've got them all over my body. That's one in particular. As I lose fat here, that's going to start to stick out more. That's just one of those things. So yeah, those are the two areas. Areas I want to grow. I really want to grow my chest more, because every time I see it, I see other body shapes like mine where they've got just a nice developed chest. That's an area I would like to grow. I'd like to also build out my shoulder.
Just in reference to what I'm saying here, I think it's key for me, that's just my own goals, rather than compare myself to other people who have this whatever genetics. My son is a good example. He's got this just wonderful physique, and but I don't have his physique. Somehow it's like a mix of my wife and my son and me, but he's got this beautiful physique. And I don't have the same body shape as he does, but I've seen other men with my body shape that just look, fit. And I think I can get there. I think that's my goal, is to feel that feeling when I see that body shape, I feel good about it.
Shoulders a little bit more. They're actually looking quite a bit better, if I do say so myself. But I've already got big arms. So my arms, I'm just kind of maintaining. My chest, my shoulders, my lats, these guys here. Really want to develop that a little bit more. Again, I'm not looking for some big bodybuilding, busting out of my skin physique. Yeah. A physique that I look at and go, ooh, I like that.
And that's kind of the key. So I can end this video here because it's bye-bye. Yeah, I don't know if that's my long-term goal, is to be some kind of bodybuilder. That certainly was never a goal of mine, so I don't really see that. I just know that there's a shape that I can see myself filling as I continue to go to the gym and continue to work on the shape that I'm looking for, that I have as a goal, right? The progress that I've seen here, there's some progress. Maybe I thought it would be more than this, but it's hard for me to see it because I'm so critical of myself. However, seeing it, I think, is really important because this is the true evidence. And this is the final point I want to leave here is I kind of go back and forth between these two worlds of the one world where I'm like, I'm making progress. People have told me things that I'm looking good. And I it's not that I rest and go, I don't have to do this anymore, but I start to feel that overconfidence try to creep in and say like, maybe you don't have to work on this. And then I start to build the version of what I look like that's not true. Okay. And that's the part that's where I fall into a trap. Seeing the evidence here, seeing the actual visual comparison and going like, okay, it's better. It's not where I thought it might have looked, or, I don't know how to say that well enough, but the point being that I can't get into a headspace that says I've achieved the goal. Okay, because I don't think I've achieved that goal yet. I do foresee another 6 months from now going back and revisiting this and going, okay, what's happened? What's changed? Have I actually built some of these areas that I was hoping to build? Certainly some progress, like great progress on my arms, right? That's huge. I can see it in my shoulders. I can feel, my waist is slimmer. However, ... there's more to go, right? So anyway, I say all this because I'm putting it out there for y'all, the people that watch, and follow my journey and are interested to see and willing to support. I say this all because this is giving me experience in not only my own self, but it helps me to help you. Okay. Some of the things that I'm doing may be helpful for you. Okay. As you watch me struggle with my stuff, I think that can be helpful for others to follow along and be involved. Okay. It's a longer journey than I thought. Okay. I actually thought I thought by 6 months I would be like, I don't know, that I would actually have this like exact body shape that I have in mind. And it's taking longer than I thought, and that's okay. But I think it's more like a year and a half kind of a journey that will get me to the point where I feel like I've got this. So yeah, I'm excited to do this, and I look forward to giving updates. This is kind of the big first update so that everyone knows where I'm starting, or at least where I've been going, and I hope you can continue to join me on the rest of the journey. We'll see you there.